Okay, thank you. So we are beginning our panel session now, and I would like to introduce, I'm the moderator, and I think most of you have met me a few times now. I should say one thing. Before I came to Berkeley 6 years ago, I spent 23 years at Microsoft, founding and leading AI plus X labs, where X was many things. So I've been at this for a little while. Okay, so I'd first like to introduce Teresa Maldonado. She is the president of the AIAS, the American Association for the Advancement of Science, and she is also the system-wide vice president for research and innovation at the University of California Office of the President, so that's over all 10 campuses, and she leads system-wide initiatives leveraging the strengths of UC's 10 campuses, 3 DOE national labs, UC Agriculture and Natural Resources, and UC Health. She has guided major efforts such as the $100 million California Climate Action Initiative, California's $1.2 billion DOE Alliance for Renewable Clean Hydrogen Energy Systems, and UC's engagement with CHIPS Act opportunities as she advances UC's innovation and technology transfer ecosystem. With 33 years in academia and 6 years at the National Science Foundation, including 4 as division director in the engineering directorate, she has championed team science, inclusive collaboration, and translational research. She's a former member of the technical staff at Bell Laboratories. She holds BEE, MSEE, and PhD degrees in electrical engineering from Georgia Tech, and is a registered professional engineer in Texas. So let us welcome Teresa. In the middle of the 3 panelists is Yan Li. Dr. Yan Li leads initiatives to support interdisciplinary brain science research and cultivate emerging scientific talent at the Chen Institute. So Yan really is responsible for this incredible conference that we are now attending. She oversees program development, including the Chen Scholars Program, training efforts, and the AI Prize, all designed to foster cross-domain collaboration and innovation at the intersection of neuroscience and artificial intelligence. And finally, we have Angela Oliveira Pisco. She is Director of Data Science at the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative. She leads programs at the intersection of AI and biology to develop tools that advance understanding of disease mechanisms. She previously led computational biology and machine learning at InCitro and directed the data science platform at CZ BioHub San Francisco, where she contributed to major cell atlas projects, including Tabula Muris and Tabula Sapiens. She is also a founding member of Open Problems in Single Cell, an open science initiative focused on benchmarking multimodal data analysis. So what we have here is we have 3 incredible leaders from different institutions leading open science initiatives. And that's really what we want to look at. AI is transforming how science is done, from hypothesis generation to data analysis and publishing, but the potential really depends on much more than the AI alone. And so this panel is bringing together people who are from, philanthropic research and from, well, AAAS does publishing, but Teresa's kind of leading the science piece of AAAS. And these are all people who have been deeply involved, as I said, in open platforms and ways of bringing us all together, which I think is even more critical in this time of AI. So what I'm going to ask each of you to do, not the facts of it, because I've already stated some of the facts of it, but to introduce yourself and your organization and the change you hope to make in the world with AI-accelerated science. So let's start with Teresa.
Thank you very much, Jenny. Hello? Is that on? Thank you. First of all, I want to inform you that Sudip Parikh, the CEO of AAAS, was hoping to attend as well, and his heart is here, and he sends his wishes. So I want to begin with that. Sudip is just a wonderful partner in leading AAAS. When I took on my current role at the University of California system, I looked at the UC. Of course, it's the University of California is a system, in my opinion, that's second to none. And I've worked at several other universities in my career. But the assets that we have in expertise and laboratories and the innovative culture that we have here at the university and in California is really provides a landscape and ecosystem to build partnerships with Sacramento and with Washington, D.C., and with other partners. So I took this opportunity in this role, starting with the COVID shutdown, by the way, to pull the system together in a pandemic response. But at the same time, being new to California, coming from Texas, my eyes were wide open on the possibilities of how we can find silver linings in that unprecedented period of time. So what I've been doing since my arrival over the past 5.5 years is basically taking the integral of my experience over my career and seeing what we could do. One of the first things we did was develop a partnership with Sacramento. When I say we, I am referring to all 10 University of California campuses. I convened the research leadership from across the system, including the 3 national labs. One of them is Los Alamos, which is in New Mexico, but they remain at the table, very active in what's important in California. So we were able to, and AI is actually a thread through all the work that I'm about to mention. So the Climate Action Initiative was a new experiment in developing a partnership with Sacramento. And just looking at wildfire alone, there are so many aspects to wildfire, not just how fire ignites and burns, but there's the health implications. There are indigenous approaches to wildfire management, forest management, et cetera. So I'll just use climate as an example, where we pulled the entirety of the University of California to explore how to do climate action and develop partnerships with community impact in mind. It was very important that the PIs learn how to engage with community around the state. And so I can talk more about how we develop these types of partnerships and why this relationship we have with the state capital is important in hydrogen. And I can talk about fusion in a moment. That's what I'm currently working on with Sacramento. And AI is going to inform everything that we do at UC.
Wonderful. Jan.
Thank you so for this great opportunity and to be here and so share with all of you and who we are and as myself and also Chen Institute. So I am trained as a neuroscientist and I was joining Chen Institute about 9 years ago. and I was fully attracted by our founder's vision and about this, so how they view this world and how they want to contribute to this society. So at Chen Institute, we are very interested in understanding and human intelligence, and we are very committed and to support interdisciplinary research, and especially so in basic and translational neuroscience research and emerging area AI and the data science. And in the past couple of years, and so we do see the tremendous and the potential of AI accelerated scientific research, but we also so believe and AI will reach its full potential only if it's driven by the collaboration cross disciplines, and it requires not just building tools, but also building the communities and ecosystem. So this is what we are working on and in the past couple of years.
Angela.
Thank you, and hello everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. I'm Angela Pisco. I'm at the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative, where I lead the data science team. I'm trained as a biomedical engineer and computational biologist, and my teams are really at the forefront of building data sets that are powering the next generation of AI models. And I think when we are at this frontier of generating large-scale data sets, it really becomes interesting to think about what can we achieve by doing so. What are the next breakthroughs we're going to have? How are we going to really to full discovery? And so what I'm really hoping that we'll be able to accomplish is that we can build fit-for-purpose novel data sets that really power the revolution in AI and are going to help us better understand human health and disease.
Wonderful. Okay, so my first question, and this will be to Teresa and Angela, is how do you and your teams think about openness as it relates to AI accelerated science?
And it's the openness plays to doing the science itself and then publishing the science. One thing, well, let me talk about the climate action. We awarded 38 grants across the state of California, not just the University of California, in partnership with Cal State, community colleges, and the private institutions, Stanford, USC, Caltech. The teams are still working on their projects. They have about half a year to go. We are producing a lot of data. And what we do is have convenings with the state to keep them up to date on how the teams are working together. We have the community partners at these meetings so that they can inform Sacramento on how these partnerships work. So the openness in the relationships, the openness in the science, have been critical already. For example, the LA fires. Some of our PIs on the climate action grants were literally called and were in the helicopters over the fires. They've done some very important modeling and simulation work with Los Alamos, by the way. And so in real time, this work is making an impact on how the state is responding to fire. So a lot of data sets have been created. The state agencies are partnering with using our repositories, and so we're looking to see how these data sets can inform future management of fire and quicker response to these events. So that's an example, and I can get into right now. We're working on fusion energy across the state with Sacramento very aggressively, and we're already talking about how we're going to be managing the data and to inform how we can accelerate the development of fusion processes, technologies, and tech transfer, and have California lead the world in piloting a pilot plant.
Thank you, Teresa. I very much resonate with the message that you were just sharing. So, for us, at CZI, we really think about openness at what is fueling the biomedical discovery. And when we are thinking about data sharing, we usually think all the way from data generation to data publishing. And so our goal is to create these impactful data sets that kind of like offer new views into what we haven't measured before. But when we are at the beginning of generating these large-scale, diverse data sets, what we also need to be able to do is to evaluate whether this data is at the depth or it contains the richness of information that we need to answer the questions that we are trying to pose. And then we have this data in hand, so if we can be open about it, if we can share the data, the model weights, we can really be in a position that we'll be able to iterate faster. If we can iterate, we can validate the predictions of the models, we can design better experiments, and we can really generate different hypotheses. And so that is what keeps fueling the loop of the scientific discovery. And so for us, it is really important that we keep this building in the open, because then with that, we can involve everyone, from the data scientists to the biologists in the lab. Everyone can participate, can critique, can contribute, and can improve in the tools and data that we are generating. And so I really think that maintaining this view towards open science is what is really going to be critical as we move forward.
So I never follow rules, so I'm the moderator, but I'm also going to answer this question. At Berkeley, we have always been about open platforms, open models. I mean, this has been true for generations now. When I talk about generations, I'm talking grad student generations. So, but many of them. Our systems lab, which changes its name every 5 years, has given rise to unicorn after unicorn. Everything that comes out of that lab is open. Big companies get built on it. I mean, Spark was released in 2013 by one of those labs. It gave rise to Databricks, which now has a valuation of $100 billion, but it was a proprietary layer built on top of something that was released as open source. Jupyter was basically invented by a group at Berkeley, and I know that Fernando Perez, who led that, has worked closely with CZI, building the platform for the Cell Atlas, which allowed it to be so much more impactful because of this large open platform. And so, and we heard from our first two speakers that their incredible models are open and that anyone can use them. Which is not to say David Baker has 20 companies on top of this, and I am waiting with bated breath for Anima's company. But you can have both this open science, which allows people across the world to contribute, and yet down the road build proprietary platforms on top of them. So I think that that this is something that all of us up here share, and I hope that many of you share, that the more we can have open source, open weight models, the better it will be for all of science and, I think, entrepreneurship. So anyway, I know I wasn't supposed to answer, but my 2 cents. Okay, so the next question is also for Angela. Is for Angela and Jan this time. Can you tell us about the biomedical data sets that you've created and shared? And, I'm good. Okay. And how do you and others use these data sets as part of an AI accelerated research pipeline. So let's start with Jan this time.
Okay, great. In this area, so we have 2 projects so we are currently working on. So the first one is large-scale multi-center clinical trials. We work with neurosurgeons and systematically collect, curate, and sharing so intracranial EEG data. It's included stereo EEG, so stereo EEG recordings from deep brain structures, and also ECOG recordings and from cortical regions and areas. And in this data set, so all the EEG data was carefully annotated and also combined with brain imaging data as well. And the second project so we are working on is related to the mental health. So we have recorded more than 5,000 dialogue, and for psychiatrist was in the consultation with the patient and relate to depression and anxiety. So for this data set, and besides the dialogue between the psychiatrist and the patient, we also have a complete patient and medical record, so including their multiple years of medication history and medical diagnosis labels and mental health assessment as well. And so in addition to that, and we also generated synthetic data based on the medical record and so the dialogues and further train and further train and fine-tune the AI models. Yeah. And for us, and currently, and the scientists was using this tool-rich and the data set and explore machine learning technologies and trying to better understanding and brain conditions and hope to create and the potential tools and for the clinician to use and in the hospitals. Yeah.
Angela.
Thank you. So I think in terms of data sets, I'm going to walk through a couple of examples that I hope with that illustrates the diversity of modalities of biological data science that we cover. So one of the first data sets that we have shared is the Tabula collection that includes Tabula murris and Tabula sapiens, which are large-scale whole organism single-cell transcriptomic atlas. And those data sets, I think a big value of them is that we built them together with the scientists that know better about the biology of the tissue, so that subject matter expertise is built in the data set. So that ensured that we were really covering the richness of biology that would be relevant for biological discovery. We also built Cell by Gene, which at the moment hosts a large collection of data sets that are over 100 million cells publicly available through Cell by Gene. And this is an open platform that anyone can use. There are APIs that allow programmatic access, but it also has a layer that is interactive, which enables biologists to explore this data and to take away insights without needing to do any coding. And one of the things that I love about Cell by Gene is that you can really split this data in many different ways because you have this aggregated data corpus. So when we're training a model, for example, we did transcriptforma, we are able to do to generate predictions across vast distances in evolution because all that data is available in the data corpus. Another aspect is when we're doing single cell transcriptomics data analysis, the most time-consuming step is to actually put a label to each of that data points that we see in a graph. Which cell type is that particular dot? And with this corpus of data, us and the community have built automated cell type annotation methods that use the data sets as reference to really accelerate this step in the data analysis pipeline. But biology is multi-scale, and our measurements also have to kind of like go there, right? So all the tabular data sets and Cell by Gene were at the level of single-cell transcriptomics, but we've also shared cryo-electron microscopy. We saw some beautiful pictures on David's talk earlier today. We have a cryo-EM portal where people can go and download the data set the data sets that have been generated at the Chan Zuckerberg Imaging Institute, and can interact with those data sets. And one of the competitions in machine learning that was run, I believe it was last year already, it was basically powering one of the largest annotation efforts for cryo-electron microscopy. So now there is a really solid data corpus of annotated cryo-EM images. And so these are just like some examples that I hope they help kind of like paint a picture of what we're trying to go, which is these building blocks that are then going to allow us to like build the virtual cells, build the virtual tissues, and eventually build the virtual organisms. So really kind of like allowing us eventually to model life at every scale.
So a quick follow-up for the two of you. You've mentioned a little bit about who's using these data sets now, but I wonder who isn't yet using them, who you hope could use them in the future, and also how much that you learned from these data sets might be helpful, or the models you built from these data sets might be helpful even beyond the biomedical sciences. So I'll start with Jan there.
Okay, so currently, so the data set and we are created with, so majority was using by the scientists in the academic institutions and the hospitals. But as I was mentioned, and the scientists right now, so using this data set, so explore machine learning and the techniques and trying to, so building on this models and trying to develop and further AI prediction and the diagnosis and the solutions. And also we see they're using to this data set trying to advance and brain machine interface technologies. So I think those and will have it will be invaluable resources, and not just for the academic, and also for the broader audience and in the industry, and so biotechs and the biofarmers, and helping them to develop and the solutions, and so in their product development process. And we do hope in the future and be able to create and a platform could be more and broaden and share and open this data set and to the broader communities. And right now, as I was also briefly mentioned, and besides we are using those data and for the trainings and to the models, and we also trying to and generate, for example, synthetic data based on the existing data, and so use those synthetic data and to train the models. And for us, and this is also a learning process, and based on the real-world data and high-quality data to generate synthetic data, what is the best way and to generate synthetic data, and all those methods could be also broader and generalized and to the other community and the field as well.
Wonderful. Angela.
Yeah, this is an excellent question. I think we have definitely seen adoption of the data sets by the biomedical research community, and even in pharma, in the R&D groups. I think it's quite fascinating to see companies building knowledge graphs on top of the cell by gene corpus, and just like building natural language interfaces to query that data. I would love to see the medical community to use these data sets. We haven't seen that yet. And also, perhaps kind of like in more like production systems, really taking the predictions further into using it in kind of like real-time discovery. We participated a couple of weeks ago in the Undiagnosed Hackathon, which is a very interesting experience, because this is, I'm not going to go into the details, but it's organized by an institution that is really trying to bring together the machine learning community and the patient community and the doctors to really try to identify, for this still large number of diseases that have no cause, how can we use this in real time? And we had some of our scientists there with one of the models that we are prepping for releasing to work with the medical doctors in real time on cases that were trying to be diagnosed at that hackathon, and being able to shed new light and insights using genetic data that no one had been made it possible yet. And it got me thinking, can we start to productionize these systems, or how far are we from this becoming more of a reality in deploying these models more real time?
Okay, now I want to pivot, and can somebody tell me how much time we have left in the, what time is it supposed to end? 12:15 or what? 15 minutes, lovely. Okay, I think we're fine. So now we're going to pivot to nurturing the next generation of interdisciplinary scientists. So, you know, we're very excited about artificial intelligence, but we care deeply about human intelligence and all of it. And we have a lot of young scholars here, so we want to nurture these young scholars. What role do you see, and this is for Teresa and for Jan now, and I guess for Teresa, you both have your role as the AIAS president and your role heading up research for the University of California. What role do you see your organizations playing in training scientists in the necessary domain knowledge and AI techniques?
So thank you. I convene the research leadership of the University of California on a regular basis, and we talk about these questions. Observation is that, you know, we're collecting a lot of data across all of our projects across the system. We have joint funded projects with the national labs. I think it's important for everyone to think about the data that's being collected, and let me just say, I think critical thinking could not be more important than right now. You have to, you know, when you get results, you know, you get all these computations done and everything, you have to ask the question, are the results real? And it reminds me back in the day when the graphing calculator came up, and my students were so dependent on the graphing calculator that I threw problems at them that the calculator gave them wrong answers. So I think we still need to remember that the critical thinking aspect of our training could not be more important. Challenge the computational results, see if they make sense. And every course I taught in electrical engineering, I would introduce these concepts and challenge the students to think about what they are actually learning. So it's a soft skill, but I think we're ripe for that right now. I think we're in a period of time that's so exciting for students to learn, and you know, talk to the more senior people. Us folks who have been around a while, we learn so much from the questions you ask, and I think it's important for us to feel comfortable challenging each other on what we're interpreting. So again, it's the soft skills around the work because it's moving so quickly, and we need to make sure that we're providing the best medicine for patients, that we are guiding communities in wildfire evacuations, that we are doing you know, new sources of energy in a smart way. So that would be my broad response to that.
Yeah. This is the most favorite question, and we like to answer. So at Chen Institute, so support talent and the young scientists, and is the core, so for the mission of Chen Institute. So at Chen Institute, so we have developed and so series of the programs, so supporting so early career scientists. And we have a training program, and the summer course was launched, and in so 3 universities in Switzerland, and talking about an AI accelerated neuroscience research. and in Japan, and working with Tokyo University, and we have a training course, and so teaching and the student and the concept of AI, so neuro-inspired AI, and in US, and we work with Duke University and have a boot camp, and so working together and talk about AI accelerated medical research. And at those training courses and summer camp, and we do see, and so it's really kind of like a mixed and student bodies and across and master and graduate student, and they are also coming from very diverse background and life science and medical research, and also so computer science and data science as well. And we do see during those training programs, and students was mingle together and discuss and against and check on each other's note, and you really see and at that programs and the people actually learn and from each other and across the discipline. So this is something we are really proud in the past couple of years we have been done. And besides, and for those training courses, and we also very kind of like value, and science communications, and science advocacy as well, and as a scientist, and we have science and writers fellowship, and encourage younger generation students attending the conference and like this, and also other conference, and to write and the meeting report and sharing their views and opinions, and which larger and the community's broader audience. So that's what we are so very proud we have been done on this. And also we work with our partners and lead by Teresa and Sudeep and Science, and launch this AI Accelerated Research Prize, and also encourage and the younger generations and taking this interdisciplinary tools and working on, and as a team and with computer scientists and together, and life science and physical science to solve most challenge question in their field. Yeah.
So I'm also going to take a stab at this one. So our college has the two largest majors at Berkeley, computer science and data science, undergrad majors. Also has statistics, which is wonderful and punches above its weight. But the amazing thing is that data science is like 7, 8 years old. It is the largest major at Berkeley. It has grown faster than any other major. Almost half of all undergraduates at Berkeley take our very rigorous data science class. In the major, it has computer science, it has statistics, it has human context and ethics, and then it has a disciplinary emphasis, which is one of over 30 or so disciplines in which you have to take 3 classes integrating data analysis with a discipline. Also at the graduate level, we currently have computational biology and computational precision health, the latter jointly with UCSF as our graduate departments under us, but we are building an interdisciplinary data science department. Omar Yagi, whom you'll hear from a little later, is transferring part of his position into this department, as are over 40 faculty from across campus. And this is really because this combination of AI and other disciplines, and in particular AI and science, is driving such change. So I think that I'm seeing it in the students. The students really want to do this, and it is our responsibility, I think, as educators to provide this and to make them career resilient, because in the future, they're not only going to be collaborating with each other, they're going to be collaborating with AI agents. And the more they are able to do that, the more they are able to make the AI agents smarter collaborators, and domain scientists are essential to that, the better off they will be in terms of their careers and the better off the world will be. So, sorry.
If I can add a footnote to that,
Yes.
please. I run into students who are kind of anxious, like, am I majoring in the right discipline major? And am I going to be left behind? But, for students to really network is going to create that career resilience, because a single student is not going to know everything and learn everything, but they can recognize the gaps in knowledge and create a network of other experts. So it's managing the anxiety in students as well. If they're not in the right major, would be very important guidance.
Right. We just had a homecoming week, and it was filled with parents, and the anxiety was there in the students, and it was there 10 times as much in the parents. So you've already addressed this a little bit, but this is to Teresa and Jan. Speak about the importance of interdisciplinarity and team science for AI accelerated science in particular, and how your organizations are supporting teams of humans working together with AI.
I've been in the interdisciplinary space for a long time, and I'm an outcome-driven person. And so really to achieve meaningful outcomes in our work, whether it be in medicine, weather forecasting, whatever, multiple disciplines had to be at the table. They provide a unique lens to the same problem. I can give you some examples. Real quickly, a friend of mine is a former astronaut, and he happened to be on a shuttle mission where, one of the tiles was peeling off. This was post-Columbia, by the way. And fast forward, mission control in Houston couldn't figure out how to fix the problem because the astronauts were already up there. And it turned out to be the medical surgeon in the back of the room asking the question, can you use a stapler? And everybody turned around and go, what are you talking about? I said, there's no stapler up there. And he said, yes, there is. It's in the medical kit. And so my friend, the former astronaut, had to train for 2 days while he was up there with these massive gloves on how to use a medical stapler to staple the tile back down. And it was successful, obviously, because he's still here. So these different disciplines, I think you should hear him tell the story. It's really amazing. But it's a life or death decision, and in real time, we have to think about what disciplines need to be at the table. And if we have time, I'm going to bring up another topic.
Jan.
Yeah, I think, so I would like kind of like leverage what I just shared and maybe giving out another example. So we have been done. So we have working with very diverse groups, and in the past couple of years, and we're working. We launched our Chen Scholar program, and supporting physician scientists, and in 3 research hospitals, UCSF here, and Mass General hospitals, and Mayo Clinic, and so in that program, we provide support and encourage our physician scientists and building the team. So not just the people with medicine and the background, and we also encourage them to recruit and the people with computer science and data science and AI background. So very diverse teams, and they work together and with our physician and the doctors, and trying to innovate and create and solutions, and helping them quickly and faster and develop solution to helping our patients. So currently, we have seen, and the technologies and been developed and related to AI diagnosis, and early and symptom and detection and screenings. And also we see actually implement of those innovations and in the clinic, like UCSF and the radiology and Mayo Clinic start to using those tools and for cancer screening, and it's truly empowered by interdisciplinary and team effort, and we will see. So we are very encouraged and looking ahead, and we will continually building our program and on this direction. So supporting so interdisciplinary research and empower so our younger generations scientists and with cutting edge and new tools, including AI. And so there's maybe other tools and coming out, but so that's the direction. So we were working on at Chen Institute.
So I have a final question for the three of you, just 1 or 2 minutes each. We have a very mixed audience here, some very senior, very well established and highly lauded researchers and innovators. And we have some students who are just getting started. We have undergrads and everyone in between. And so what message do you want to give this audience related to the topics that we've discussed, open science, shared data, interdisciplinary research, or anything else? A couple of minutes each. Let's start with Angela this time.
So for me, open science, shared data, and interdisciplinary collaborations are not optional. Science is just becoming more and more complex. The amount of data that we are generating is growing at an unprecedented pace. And so is the volume and the depth of the questions that we can ask. And so whenever we are thinking about this problem space, it is just too large for any one team to solve in isolation. So by sharing the tools, by sharing the data, by sharing the insights, this is how we're going to advance science and how we're going to make it more equitable and inclusive. And open science for me is also about building communities that work together and they push further instead of competing for the same narrow ground. The collaboration and creativity is really where I think that the sparks of new discovery come from. And so, to me, what I think we have to do is to build these interdisciplinary teams that are going to unlock the new scientific discoveries and take advantage of this large amount of data that the entire community is building. And so, if we bring all these scientists together, I think if it's an interdisciplinary team, they really will be powered to design the next generations of solutions. And so very often what we think about in my team is that we want to be generous with our knowledge. We want to be fearless in the collaboration, but we also want to be humble about what we don't yet know. And at CZI, we have this incredibly ambitious mission of treating, preventing, or managing all the diseases by the end of the century. And we've had some experiences that really show us that new scientific breakthroughs happen when we have different expertises coming together and when we really are working in the open and with trust.
Jan.
I want to add on Angela's comment, and we want to be humble and we want to respect what we don't know, and we do think, and so AI is a tool, and it's a human drive the innovation. So the inclusive and the interdisciplinary team will lead the way.
Teresa.
Beautifully stated. I agree with my colleagues here. I'll also add that in many cases, getting technologies to the public requires research translation, patenting, et cetera. I'm working with Victor Zhao, the president of the National Academy of Medicine, and a large steering committee on how we accelerate medical technologies to the public in an equitable way, and we're looking to develop a framework and a governance structure, and we're using AI to create case studies to assess medical technologies, new innovations, such that we can accelerate the adoption of new discoveries to the public.
Wonderful. Let us thank our panelists for all of their insights.